You know, what if one of the absolute best tools for building a strong, athletic body wasn't some high-tech gadget in a fancy gym, but a forgotten secret from the past? Well, today, we're unlocking the power of the kettlebell.
And we've got to start with this quote from Pavel Tsatsouline, the guy who basically brought the kettlebell to the modern fitness world. This says it all, right? We're not just talking about a piece of equipment here. We're talking about an entire philosophy of what it means to be strong.
And that really gets to the heart of it. The kettlebell is kind of like a return to a more fundamental, honest kind of training. It's all about building a body that is truly capable, for the actual demands of life, not just for show.
Okay, so to really get why this old-school tool feels so revolutionary, we first have to talk about the problem it's trying to solve. And that's the confusing mess that modern fitness can sometimes be.
Pavel has this great way of putting it. He says there's this huge disconnect in fitness. You've got bodybuilding ideas on one side, which are all about isolating muscles. And then on the other, you've got these so-called functional workouts that look more like a circus act than anything you'd ever do in the real world.
And this slide just nails it. Real life demands that you can do stuff like haul heavy groceries, right? That's integrated full-body strength. But I can guarantee you, life almost never asks you to balance on a wobbly ball while juggling. The whole point should be to train for life's challenges, not for the gym's distractions.
So how does this simple cannonball with a handle cut through all that noise? Well, it all starts with its incredible ability to teach one of the most important movements our bodies can do. A movement that, honestly, modern life has made a lot of us forget.
The hip hinge? The kettlebell is an absolute master at teaching this movement. And listen, leading back expert Dr. Stuart McGill says that learning to hinge from your hips properly is absolutely vital for protecting your spine and staying healthy for the long haul. It's the real foundation of where your power comes from. And the kettlebell swing, that signature exercise, is basically a masterclass in the hip hinge. It lets you build explosive athletic power in a way that's just uniquely safe. It's not like complex Olympic lifts that can take forever to learn, or high-impact sprinting, which can so easily lead to injuries like torn hamstrings.
Okay, now check this out, because the physics of the swing are wild. Instead of just letting the kettlebell drop, you actively guide it down. This creates something called an overspeed eccentric. What that means is a 53-pound bell can actually generate forces of over 10 Gs. So your muscles get the signal of lifting something like 500 pounds, but without ever putting that dangerous crushing load on your spine. It's incredible.
So the carryover from this is just immense. You're building power safely. You're strengthening that whole chain of muscles down the back of your body, you're getting your cardio in, and you're building a kind of resilience that helps prevent all those nagging injuries. It's like it hits almost every aspect of fitness with just one tool and one main movement.
And this brings us to an even bigger idea. Because the kettlebell philosophy isn't just about what you do, it challenges the entire way we think about training. It's a huge shift from just working out to something way more profound.
This quote is a century old, but it perfectly captures the idea. The goal in a lot of modern gyms seems to be total exhaustion, to work yourself out. But if you're really seeking strength, that's the last thing you want. The goal isn't to get tired. The goal is to get better.
And this is the game-changing concept right here. Strength is a skill. Your nervous system has to learn it. Pavel calls his method for this greasing the groove. The idea is, instead of destroying your muscles once a week, you practice the movement, often, always staying fresh. You're teaching your body to be more efficient, more powerful.
So what does that look like? Well, instead of one brutal session of pull-ups, you do multiple easy sets of perfect reps scattered throughout your day. You actually end the day stronger, not weaker. You're treating strength just like learning a new language or an instrument, with consistent, high-quality practice.
Okay, so the kettlebell is obviously an amazing tool with this brilliant philosophy behind it. So does that mean we should just toss out our barbells and dumbbells and only ever use this one iron ball?
Well, the short answer is probably not. And this is where a balanced, smart perspective is so important. Yeah, you can get incredible results with just kettlebells, but they are one powerful tool among many, and other tools definitely have their own unique benefits.
I love this analogy from Coach Chandler Marchman. It's perfect. A pure boxer? For sure, they're dangerous. But an MMA fighter who can box and wrestle and grapple, well, they're probably more complete, right? Think of kettlebells as your powerful base, your boxing, but other tools can help you become that well-rounded fighter. So the crucial point here is that you don't have to choose. It's not an either-or situation. You can use the kettlebell as the powerful, functional foundation of all your training, and then you can intelligently add in other tools like barbells or your own body weight to build a truly capable and well-rounded body.
So, after all that, looking at the problem, the tool, and the philosophy, what's the one big lesson the kettlebell can teach every single one of us about our fitness?
It's really a return to what's simple and what's potent. It teaches us to focus on fundamental movements and do them perfectly, to start treating strength like a skill we practice, not some punishment we have to endure, and ultimately, to build a body that's strong and actually useful for the demands of real life.
And that just leaves us with this one last thought to chew on. In a fitness world that's always screaming that you need more exercises, more gear, more complexity, maybe the kettlebell's greatest secret is that true strength comes from focusing on less, but doing that less with an incredible amount of quality and intention.